am Zadran the Indestructible, and I blow this kiss to cricket.
Ten.
9!
8.
7.
6.
5. 4.
3. 2.
1. Let's go.
This is a long World Cup. You can come into this World Cup out of form, you can find form, you can lose that form, you can get new form, you can retire from that form, and then you can make a comeback and win the World Cup with whole new form. It is entirely possible that Nasir Jamshid will make a triple century in the World Cup final and win it for Pakistan. It's not that possible or plausible, but you know, this World Cup is so long that things like that can happen. South Africa were out of form. I don't know, it felt like a year ago in this World Cup, and now they look like they're one of the favourites again. A lot of things have happened. Andy, is it possible we have judged England and Pakistan on pre-peak form?
As you say, peaking too early, well, that's something we Europeans know only too well about. You just need to take one look at Greece. They really hit the ground running 2,500, 3,000 years ago. Didn't keep quite enough left in the tank. But let's not forget, J-Rod, this tournament is all about winning on the 29th of March. And if you realistically have no chance of doing that, then you might as well lose properly. And besides, as any half-decent field marshal will tell you, you should always do what your opponents least expect. England's opponents will be expecting them to make changes of personnel and tactics, so that is exactly the last thing they should be doing for their crucial game with Bangladesh. But I have to say, Jared, England's performance has really not gone down well here in London. Massive public protests on the streets and in Trafalgar Square, as you can see. And even 1980s legend David Gower has been unusually outspoken.
It's just not good enough.
So I guess on the plus side, all England needs to do now is one simple thing, and that is play cricket much better than they have been doing so far, and for their opponents to play it less well. Those two simple things, and we'll be fine.
So, Doc, do you know Sachin Tendulkar? Yes, one of the next best batsmen ever after me. And the Don? Yes, he is also one of the next best batsmen ever after me. Right, anyway, Sachin is an ICC World Cup ambassador. And one of the next best batsmen ever after me. Right, as an ambassador for the ICC, Sachin has called for there to be not 10, not 14, not 16, not 32, but 25 teams at the next World Cup. But the ICC wants only 10 teams. Well, it is rather embarrassing for the ICC. It would seem their organisation has something of a split personality. The ICC has a personality? Good one, Frederick. Played. Personally, I'd favour some form of compromise between the two suggestions. What, 17.5 teams? Well, 17 teams and A.B. de Villiers, yes.
Jason Holder has just talked about the 4-men out rule again, and many people have talked about it. It's completely changed the way one-day cricket is being played. Everything before this era is essentially Neanderthals playing cricket. It's just, we're in a whole different version of one-day cricket at the moment. The only people playing the Neanderthal version seem to be England at this stage. We have very high highs, we have very low lows. Batsmen are making over 150, teams are sometimes making less than 150. It's completely changed the way that bowlers have to think. They now have to write down their plans and essentially show it to batsmen before they bowl. It is a very different version of one-day cricket. I would say, Andy, that it's possible that the 4-men out rule is becoming the player of the tournament.
There's supposed to be a fish tank in my trailer. You read the contract. ESPN, isn't it? Sam Ball has a fish tank, I have a fish tank. Jared, yes, indeed. As we record, stat alerts, there have been 19 scores of 300 already in the first 26 matches of this tournament. That's the same number of 300-plus scores as were made in the entire first and second millennia of World Cups. Admittedly, that was only 7 World Cups, but still, that's a lot of World Cups to have the same number of 300s as have been made in half of this one World Cup. Hang on, I'm not finished with you yet. There's also been 6 150-plus individual scores. There'd never been more than 2 in a single World Cup before. Cricket really has done something truly extraordinary to make an 80-ball century seem strangely humdrum, about as exceptional as a bus. I mean, buses are still good, yes, but once upon a time they must have seemed absolutely sensational. But that novelty has worn off, and we expect buses now as a bare minimum. You can have too much of a good thing, as my friend Orange Pete would no doubt testify. He really loved oranges and drowned in a massive vat of marmalade. So, yes, in answer to the question, whatever it was, 4 men outside the circle, very silly indeed, unless you make the pitches do something and the balls work, as they have in a few games in this tournament, and in the 2013 Champions Trophy under the same rules. Only 2 scores of 300 in 15 matches in that tournament, both in the same game. So in answer to the question, yes, whatever it was, I fully agree.
It is important to note at this point in the World Cup that Sri Lanka are actually playing in the tournament. Some people have overlooked them. Unfortunately, some teams have played better and they've got a lot of press, like India and New Zealand. Some teams have played worse, like England and Pakistan, and they've got masses of press. Sri Lanka are just somewhere in the middle. They almost lost to Afghanistan for a little while there, and then obviously since then they've played a couple of very good games, but they haven't got press. They haven't sent anyone home for disciplinary reasons. Nasir Jamshed is not playing for them. They're not trying to limit the amount of players in the World Cup, and they don't believe in pass scores. You know, they don't cling to them like, you know, England do, like a baby on a balcony. Essentially, they're just playing really good cricket, and their middle order hasn't been that involved. So I ask you, Andy Zoltzman, can Sri Lanka win this World Cup without anyone actually noticing?
Don't know, haven't seen them. So yes, I guess, yes, they are. Yeah, good side. But any team that can beat England by an embarrassingly humiliating margin has to be one of the very top 3 or 4 teams in the history of Group A at this World Cup, undoubtedly.
So, the AB de Villiers weak spot. Where do you bowl to this great batsman in form? Well, some bowlers aim for around about there. They think there's a possible weak spot there. The problem is you bowl there to de Villiers. He is flipping that over his shoulder for 6 down to long legs. So you might then make an adjustment and instead aim for around about here. The problem is you bowl that to the brilliant South African. He is hitting that through extra cover for 4, so maybe a little change of tactic and bowl it perhaps about there. You do that, he's smacking you over long on. Another problem you've got with de Villiers is his strong zone, which is roughly round about here. So really you can't really bowl anywhere within that area. That's going to be a problem for you. He has shown a bit of a weakness in this World Cup, and that has been when he has not been batting. He really didn't score many runs against India after running himself out. Ireland also kept him very quiet for the first 40 overs by not letting him get to the crease. So that does appear to be a bit of a weak spot. Even the best batsmen do have them.